Joining us now is Josh Hammer. Josh is awesome. Josh, I'm pleased that you are back in America. Is your family okay? Inform our audience of the unbelievable journey you had to go through because of the Iranian missile attacks.
Yeah, Charlie, I think last time I checked in with you, it was less than 24 hours after the IDF operations inside Iran began. We were over in Israel at that time. And it was a Friday afternoon. The Jewish Sabbath was about to come in over in Israel. And we kind of just, everyone knew that the Iranians were going to start their missile launches during the Jewish Sabbath. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened. I literally had to interrupt my Shabbat Friday evening prayers to take my wife and daughter to run down to the bomb shelter. This happened on and off over the next few days. And Charlie, this is kind of evaded American media. So the media is properly covering all of the astonishing tactical operational success that the IDF and Mossad had, especially in those first few hours of the war inside Iran. But unfortunately, the Israeli air defense was letting too many missiles through. To be clear, they were intercepting most of them, but too many were getting through. And after a few days, it did start to get a little dicey. And there was a neighboring town near where we were staying that the Israeli media tragically was reporting that two people who even went to the bomb shelter, they actually died from a direct ballistic missile blast. Because Charlie, let's understand here that these bomb shelters over there, they're built primarily with these Hamas rockets and mortars in mind, not necessarily these 2,000-mile hypersonic ballistic missiles. So I decided that I basically had to get the heck out of here. So I did a little research. I came across this program. I live in Florida. I came across a program that our governor, Ron DeSantis, had Florida team up with, a rescue evacuation organization called Gray Bull Rescue. I was put in touch with a state senator from Florida, a wonderful man named Jay Collins. And he was our point of contact to basically get us home. So it was a 3.5-day journey. It took a very long time. We took a bus to the Jordanian-Israeli border. The border was total chaos, total zoo. A lot of people trying to get across that border. Spent the night in Amman, Jordan. Flew from Jordan to Cyprus, which is like a hub for a lot of people fleeing. Did a night in Cyprus. Then flew on a DeSantis-chartered flight from Cyprus to Tampa. DeSantis was actually waiting for us there. We did a whole press conference. He actually asked me to join him. I was coming off of a 13-hour flight, no sleep, so I did the best I could at 5:30 in the morning. Hopefully it came out okay. It was quite an ordeal, to put it mildly, but most importantly, Charlie, I am home. My family is home. We are all safe. Praise be to God.
I mean, and how old is your daughter?
6 months.
That's tough, man. I mean, that's really tough.
Yes.
Can you just remind our audience a little bit, and then I want to get into some more of the psychological toll. I mean, every night you go into bunkers, no one's getting sleep. It's terror on the children. I think part of it is the terror on the children too. I mean, I know what it's like if my daughter or son's night sleep is interrupted at night. It's a disaster, right? It becomes a total calamity. But that's part of what Iran wanted to try and invoke upon the people of Israel. Am I correct?
Totally correct. So, the crazy thing, Charlie, so our daughter, her name is Esther. I actually dedicated my book, Israel and Civilization, to my daughter, Esther. Anyone who knows anything about the book of Esther in the Bible knows that it is a story that takes place in Persia, in ancient Iran and Persia. So it was actually literally on our daughter's 6-month birthday on June 13, 2025, that the Persians started launching rockets at us. It kind of had almost like a biblical kind of divine element to it as well. But I guess I will say this. So we kind of got lucky insofar as, yes, it was horrible. We moved bedrooms. So we were very lucky. We were staying in a house that had a spare bedroom on the basement level next to the bomb shelter. So we actually slept in this room adjacent to the bomb shelter so that when the sirens and the phone goes off at 3 a.m. there, you can literally just drop everything you're doing and rush next door. Not fun, by the way. I mean, 90 seconds, 2 minutes to just drop whatever you're doing, put on your glasses if you wear contacts like me, and just get to the bomb shelter ASAP. But we got lucky insofar as I think it was easier to have a 6-month-old Charlie than if we had like a 5 or 6-year-old. And sure enough, there actually were some families on our evacuation mission. There were 300 of us who got on those buses towards the Jordanian border on the first state of Florida evacuation mission. There are these two wonderful, beautiful families from Texas, Christian families there who were visiting the Christian holy sites in Israel. And these two families had these beautiful children, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I watched the parents just trying to keep these kids entertained, like literally entertained on the bus to the hotel, the airport, to this. And I kind of said to my wife, we have a 6-month-old, and that's not easy there, but it could also be a lot tougher as well.
I mean, I have a near 3-year-old. I can't imagine what like all your energy would just be on making sure your 2 or 3-year-old is entertained. So Josh, praise the Lord that you're okay and your family's okay. So now that the war is over, just kind of give us your take on what President Trump was able to accomplish, what this means for the Western world. And if you would have told most people 2 weeks ago Iran would have no nuclear weapon. There'd be no U.S. troops killed. There'd be no U.S. troops on the ground. There would be no permanent war. There would be no even talks of war in Congress, and that we've kind of are moving on in a news cycle. I mean, that would be an incomprehensible accomplishment. I just want everyone to look at this from a 2-week window. 2 weeks ago was when Israel launched the first strikes against Iran, 2 weeks ago. And now it's kind of a memory and it's being forgotten. It's unbelievable, Josh Hammer.
Yeah, Charlie, very well said. This is one of the most astonishing victories from any president of the United States in my entire lifetime. Full stop. I mean, hard stop. End of story. I mean, this is incredible legacy-defining stuff. Charlie, you and I are roughly around the same age. I'm a few years older. I think I'm 36. But for my entire adult lifetime, the Iranian nuclear program has been one of those thorny, recurring, ongoing debates. It's been this hovering sword of Damocles over the Middle East, over the United States, over Western civilization. What do we do? What do we not do? Do we reach a deal like Barack Obama did in 2015? Do we try to just bomb them? Is there going to be a forever war, regime change war? Are we just going to let it sit and let them get nuclear? It's been in a debate for literally as long as I've been following politics. Donald Trump, in roughly 37 hours from those B-2s taken off of Missouri, going to Iran, dropping the 14 bunker busters, those Tomahawk missiles from the nuclear submarine, and then returning home, in 37 hours, without a single shot being fired on a B-2, he has single-handedly changed the face of the region and arguably the world. He has neutralized the single current deadliest threat, not just the people of the Middle East, but potentially to the people of Europe, because Iran has ballistic missiles that can go thousands of miles as well. And they've been working very hard on ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles as well, that, God forbid, could potentially reach the Americas, the Western Hemisphere. They're not there yet, but they've certainly been working on it there. And in one fell swoop, Donald Trump has done more to bring peace, stability, and security to the Middle East and to the United States. Charlie, let's not forget, the raison d'etre, the entire purpose of the current regime in Iran is to eliminate what they refer to as the little state in Israel and the big state in the United States. People can say, oh, why do they hate us? It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, it does not matter. The fact is they literally do. This regime started with a hostage crisis at the American embassy that ended the Jimmy Carter presidency. They funded Hezbollah to murder 241 Marines in Beirut, Lebanon in 1983. There was the Khaybar Towers attack in Saudi Arabia in the 1990s. All the Qasem Soleimani supplied IEDs to murder our brave men and women in uniform in Iraq in the 2000s. And on it goes. This regime has a ton of American blood on its hands. If you can accomplish at an infinitesimally low cost to deprive this genocidal, maniacal, anti-American regime of the world's deadliest weapons, why in the world would you not do that? So praise be to God that Donald Trump did what he did. It is a fantastic demonstration of American military prowess. And most importantly, Charlie, it's also the Trump doctrine at work. The Trump doctrine is neither neoconservative nor isolationist. He is a nationalist realist. Jacksonian is a term that gets batted around sometimes. He is someone who is not looking to start wars, and this was not looking to start a war. It actually was looking to try to end a war, to end the Iranian regime's 4.5-decade-long war through the regime directly and their various proxies against America and America's allies. It is a fantastic, unbelievable, historical display of statesmanship, and I am proud that I voted for this man, frankly, in Donald J. Trump.
Think you're getting enough nutrition from your food? Think again. Right now, it takes 3 carrots to get the same nutrition as 1 carrot from 100 years ago. Our food supply has been hijacked by big agencies, stripped of the minerals your body needs to function at its best. Dr. Linus Pauling, a 2-time Nobel laureate, saw this coming. He warned, quote, "The world is sick due to a lack of minerals in our foods. Most supplements today give you 12 essential minerals, but your body needs at least 60 to thrive. That's why Immuno 150, Immuno 150 is a game changer, delivering 13 essential vitamins, 70 plant-based minerals, and 68 additional nutrients. This administration is going to make America healthy again, but it's our job to be informed and make good choices. Immuno 150 gets you on track for better health. Visit Immuno150.com. That's Immuno150.com, or call 855-593-5500 to get yours. It's time to take back control of our nutrition. Josh, what do you make of the liberal narrative that President Trump and America's strikes on Fordo were unsuccessful? Josh Hammer.
Well, Charlie, I can answer that very simply, which is, Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, the line is that they've been obliterated. I've not been there in Fordo. I have not been able to say that it's literally been obliterated. What I can tell you is this. that this leaker is full of you-know-what. This leaker is 1,000% full of crap there. This has all the markings of a Natasha Bertrand operation. That's the name of the reporter at Politico who was reporting about this leaker. If that name sounds familiar, that's because it should. She was the reporter back in 2020 who was first seeking to dismiss the New York Post bombshell Hunter Biden laptop story as so-called Russian disinformation, with Brennan and Clapper and that whole terrible list of 51 deep state spooks. So we should be very skeptical for that reason. Charlie, the other reason that I feel very, very confident in saying that whether it's literal obliteration or setback years and years there, the other reason I'm very confident is because that's what the Israelis are saying too. And a lot of people say, oh, the U.S. should not trust what Israel says. Fair enough. Every country should do its own assessment. But in this particular situation, I think Israel's word is actually very important because the Iranian nuclear program is literally an existential threat to them. So the fact that Israel agreed to this Trump-imposed ceasefire ASAP, it's pretty much no questions asked. That means that they are very satisfied that this existential threat hovering over them on a daily basis has been severely neutralized, if not quite gotten rid of in its entirety. So I feel very good about the current state of the program. Obviously, we will learn more in the days to come, but this has all the hallmarks of an anti-Trump deep state intelligence community leak.
Yes, and to your point, if Israel felt that they were threatened so much by the Iranian nuclear program, they were willing to launch preemptive strikes. And then now they're saying that that threat is taken out. Well, then that's actually probably the best verification because they obviously have the most interest and most invested in the lethality and the seriousness of the Iranian nuclear program. Josh, a final thought here. There's new polling to suggest that young people's view of Israel has gone down in the last couple of weeks, last couple of months. There's a lot of work to do to try to educate the next generation about the pro-Israel cause. Why do you think that is, and what do you think can be done in the coming months or years to at least get young people to understand that Israel is a country surrounded by barbarians and a death cult, and that it's a much more complicated, nuanced position? Josh.
Charlie, my best guess as to why the Israel position is currently becoming a little more unpopular with certain younger, especially Gen Z types above all, is that especially for those who grew up in a post-9/11 milieu, and to be clear, I was only 12 years old when 9/11 happened, I think that there is this conflation between U.S. support for Israel and the forever wars that constituted the failed regime change wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. But this is a flawed line of analysis for multiple reasons. On the first hand, Charlie, there's this narrative that Israel talked George W. Bush into fighting Iraq. And frankly, nothing could be further from the case. In fact, both the president of Israel at the time in 2002, Shimon Peres, and the leader of the Israeli right, Ariel Sharon, literally both told George W. Bush, do not do this because you're going to topple this. It's going to become an Iranian province overnight in Iraq there. You're going to destabilize the region. So that narrative has always been bunk. But Charlie, there's a much more important argument here, which I advance in my book, Israel and Civilization. I have a whole chapter on this, which is I think it's imperative for young Americans, young conservatives, young Christians to understand that Israel serves the American national interest in this region by oftentimes doing our dirty work for us when it comes to pruning the jihadist excesses of Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Kataib Hezbollah, all the Houthis, all the various proxies of the Iranian regime, to doing tremendous damage to the Iranian regime itself in the first few days of the 12-day war, therefore making it so that these B-2 bombers could go in with the Iranian missile defense, with the Iranian radar completely obliterated there, with not a single shot fired there. Charlie, what Israel and the U.S. just did to neutralize the Iranian nuclear program, I'm a sports fan, it's essentially equivalent to an alley-oop of sorts. I think back to the old early 2000s, Kobe Bryant to Shaquille O'Neal. It's basically an alley-oop. It is a tag team operation to neutralize a hegemonic threat from a regime that chants not just death to Israel, but death to America as well. All of this, by the way, is in service of trying to stabilize the Middle East and therefore kind of make it easier for America to pivot to China, which is our big threat.
Check out the Josh Hammer show. Josh, thanks so much. Josh Hammer will be debating at the Student Action Summit. At least we got to get the final details here. Josh Hammer is in, and I believe he'll be debating Dave Smith, who's been on this program. And we have big disagreements with Dave Smith. I like Dave, though. He seems like a very well-intended guy, despite some of our worldview differences. And that's fine. We want to try to debate it out. I will be the moderator, Josh Hammer, Dave Smith. It'll be all at the Student Action Summit. That'll be must-see stuff there. Let's play cut 53, please.
Student Action Summit 2025, featuring the boldest voices in the fight. Secretary Pete Hegseth, Charlie Kirk, Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, Brett Cooper, Secretary Kristi Noem, Riley Gaines, Brandon Tatum, Jack Posobiec, and more. Join thousands of students, future leaders, and freedom fighters. This is the battleground of ideas. This is the Student Action Summit. The future is ours to build. Register now at SAS2025.com.
That is SAS2025.com. Get your tickets right now. Pete Hegseth, Kristi Noem, Megyn Kelly, Greg Gutfeld, the biggest speakers of the movement, SAS2025.com.